Howdy folks, welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. Yep, that's a TOG 2. It's time to do the TOG 2 review. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this. And I've been waiting until I had some, how can I put this, not necessarily good games in the TOG 2, but games worthy of the TOG status is probably the safest way to put it. I don't think this is a very good tank, but I love it anyway. It's so much fun. Everybody cheers up when they see a TOG in the team list, regardless of whether it's on your team or the enemy team. The jokes start flying around. It's one of those tanks that just puts a smile on everybody's face. It certainly does for me. I've named mine HMS Pointless. It's traditional amongst TOG drivers to name your tank after a battleship or a warship of some description. So there she is, HMS Pointless. And she is pretty much pointless. TOG, the name, actually stands for the Old Gang, which is what the design committee who designed this monstrosity called themselves. There was a TOG 1. This is the TOG 2. And it was originally not intended to have a turret. They were going to put the main gun in the hull, and they was going to have side sponsors mounted here, where you can see these side doors. They were going to have sponsons mounted, just like the First World War tanks, with extra gun sponsons on the side as well. Well, that idea was scrapped, and they put an A30 Challenger cruiser tank turret on the top with a 17-pounder gun, which was probably the only good idea about this tank. The problem was that the guys who designed it had also designed the first British tanks in the First World War, and they were years ahead of their competition in the First World War, but their thinking was still mired in the whole concept of operations in First World War trench warfare. Just look at this thing. It was designed for breaching trench lines. Very long, very low body. Speed wasn't important because it was designed for battling its way across no man's land and then just driving over trench lines. Well, that was never going to happen in the Second World War. If you look at the vehicle details, there you go. Developed for trench warfare. So it's already obsolete. By 1943, when it was completed, seriously, 1943, they were still designing tanks like this? Yeah, it was obsolete. Never entered service. Now, it is actually a fun tank to drive, in a way that, well, it's not even really like the Churchill. The Churchill's really slow. Well, certainly the Russian Churchill is really, really slow. And it's got a god-awful gun, but it's very, very heavily armoured. Well, this is kind of almost the opposite. It's got a very, very good gun, but it's got horrible armour. And the special thing about the TOG is, bear in mind, this is just a Tier 6 heavy tank. It's got 1,400 hit points. What else has 1,400 hit points? The IS doesn't even have 1,400. It's a Tier 7 heavy. What about the KV-1S? 810. It's got half the health of the TOG 2. IS-3, 1,500. The TOG 2 has 100 less health than the IS-3. So that's kind of awesome. And one of the reasons why I held off getting the TOG for so long was because I looked at the armour, and the armour is crap. And I looked at the speed, and the speed is diabolically slow. And I just thought, this thing is just a punching bag for the enemy team. It's just a great big XP and credit pinata. Right? It rolls forward, the enemy spot it, they all start shooting, and a couple of minutes later they've whittled its health down to nothing, and it's just a big... You know, you just shoot it and credits and XP come out. And to an extent, that is kind of true. However, this thing bites back. The DPM on this tank is phenomenal, and it's all down to that 17-pounder gun. But we'll have a look at the stats in detail, and then talk about the tank overall. So I've already mentioned the fact that it has 1,400 hit points. It's got more health than any two other Tier 6 vehicles put together. You know, it's phenomenally It's just so much health. And it's just as well because it has no armour. The armour's garbage. 76 at the front, 76 at the side, 50 at the rear. The turret is better, 114 at the front, but still 76 at the side, 53 at the rear. But it's all flat. You know, there's hardly any sloping or angling going on here whatsoever. And what sloping there is not very good. You will try to angle this thing just out of habit, but it's a complete waste of time because one, it takes so long, and two, they just go through you like butter anyway. This thing it may as well not be armoured at all. I mean, maybe some tier 4s might have problems getting through your 76mm. I mean, let's not forget 76mm is the same armour thickness as... Oh, I don't have one. Of course I don't have one. Where are we? Let's have a look in the tech tree. 76mm at the front is KV1. In fact, it's a millimetre better than a KV1. And the KV1 is a pretty well armoured tier 5 heavy tank. So it's not terribly badly armoured if you're getting into a tier 4 or 5, majority tier 4 or 5 game. And that can happen if you're top tier in this thing. It's tier 6. You can go up against tier 4 tanks and you'll absolutely slaughter them, and they will have a hard time against you. But anything tier 5, 6 or 7, which this thing faces, will not have problems penetrating you whatsoever. But like I said, this thing bites back, and it's down to that 17-pounder gun. Now, this was a really, really good gun. Let's not forget, this is the same gun that was used to kill tigers in the Sherman Firefly, or a variation of the same gun. It's a 17-pounder gun Mark 7. It's a 76mm gun. The rate of fire is 12 rounds per minute. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Penetrates up to 171mm and does 150 average damage. The accuracy is good, 0.36. The aiming time of 2.3 seconds isn't bad. That is a decent gun. And what is generally considered to be the best / the most overpowered tank at tier 6, certainly not the TOG2, is this thing, the KV-1S, with that 122mm gun that does 390 average damage. But a KV-1S has a rate of fire of 3.75 rounds per minute. And if you ever are driving your TOG2 and you come across a KV-1S driver who basically trades DPM with you, trades his damage per minute with you, who sits there in front of you, and you might laugh, you might think nobody's that stupid. Oh yes they are. If you're allowed to pump shot after shot into a KV-1S while he's reloading his gun, he'll hurt you, but you will kill him. The damage per minute, the sustained fire damage output of that gun is very, very good. TOGs that get the opportunity of just sitting there and pumping, just putting that gun to work on you, are very, very dangerous machines. Their single biggest drawback, however, is their god-awful speed. That is an 80-ton tank, and it only has a 600 horsepower engine. 14 kilometre per hour speed limit. These tanks look at Churchills and start getting speed envy. It is so incredibly slow. And kind of like driving Churchills and Matildas and other really, really slow machines, T-28 prototypes, things like that. If you pick the wrong way to go at the start of a battle, you're stuffed. You're completely stuffed, right? This thing will never see action until every other tank on the team's dead and the enemy team come to finish you off. And that's the only time you'll ever get to actually use that gun in anger. It's very, very important when you're driving one of these tanks that you scrutinise the team list and you look at the map that you're on. And before the countdown finishes, you figure out which way you need to go in order to be able to use this tank effectively. Other stats, you know what, the turret traverse isn't bad at all. 32 degrees is actually pretty fast. Hull traverse is as garbage as you'd expect, 20 degrees per second. Good view range, 360 metres, it's pretty good for a tier 6. garbage signal range, 570. But again, we're only at tier 6. What should you expect? The crew, you've got a commander, a gunner, a driver, a radio operator, and 2 loaders, which is kind of bizarre because it's only a 76mm gun. You don't see 2 loaders in a Sherman or a T-49. So that's kind of... What it does mean, however, is bear in mind this is a premium tank. Actually, it's probably worth... Where is it? Where are you, Mr. Tog? Oh, I'm not going to find you looking at the Russian tech tree. There he is. 3,500 gold. That's how much this thing costs. Now, 3,500 gold is about... It's just under a month and a half's worth of premium account. And I would recommend getting one of these things. Just for the, for the lols. Because it is hilarious driving one of these things. And it is one of those tanks that can't help but bring a smile to everybody's face when they see it on the battlefield. Regardless of whether it's on your team or the enemy team, everybody starts cracking jokes when they see the TOG. And it really, really does bring a much lighter atmosphere to the games you're in when there's a lot of TOGs, or even just a couple of TOGs around, because they're such funny tanks. I mean, look at it. It's pathetic. I really, really love that Wargaming have put a tank like this into the game because it's so comical. And yet, don't underestimate them. As I said, the DPM of that gun is just fantastically good. Now, equipment fit. Well, gun rammer. Any tank that can fit a gun rammer should generally be fitting a gun rammer. And that's all I've put on it. Improved vents wouldn't be a terrible idea, but there's 600,000 credits. It's only a tier 6 premium. If you've got the credits, go ahead and do it. Improved vents would be a good idea. They would help with the off-road driving. They would help with the turret traverse, the gun traverse, the hull traverse, so on and so on and so on. With the aiming time, it's always a good idea, but I'm not spending 600,000 credits on this thing. I had a spare gun rammer. I put it on. It doesn't really need a gun lane drive. 2.3 second aiming time is fine. It's got good view range. Binocular telescope, complete waste. This thing should never stop moving. If it stops moving, it gets left behind the battle. Coated optics wouldn't be a terrible idea. You get an extra 36 meters view range up to 396 meters, which is pretty damn good at tier 6. So coated optics, not a terrible idea, but again, 500,000 credits. I mean, geez. Camo net, no, for the same reasons that you don't want binocular telescope. It's just, if this thing is not moving, you're doing it wrong. Wet armor rack, doesn't need it. The enhanced suspension, not a terrible idea. It does have very, very tough tracks, but it's very, very, very slow. And getting your tracks blown off even once is bad news on this thing. Artillery loves to shoot at it. It's one of the few tanks that even low-tier artillery can actually damage. Because the armour is so crap, and it's just this huge, massive, flat target for artillery to land shells on top of. So you're easy enough to hit for artillery anyway because you're so slow, but why make it easy for them? So, enhanced vertical coil springs, not a terrible idea, but again, 500,000 credits, really worth it? Don't know. Spall liner, waste of time. It's 15% to armour protection from ramming and explosions. You think, well, that'll help with artillery. Well, not if your armour's crap in the first place. 15% more crap is still crap. Spall liners work really, really well on heavily armoured tanks. They're godlike on a tank like the Mouse. But on one of these, no. I've literally just put the gun rammer on, and I don't really care about anything else, and it works. As far as crew skills go, I don't have any other British heavies, so I've had to actually buy and train a crew. Those of you who are driving other British heavies, you don't want to buy a crew for this thing. You want to use your other British heavy tank crews in this thing to get extra crew training for them. And you can swap them because it's a premium tank. You can put any British you can put any British heavy tank crew into this premium British heavy tank without having to retrain them. And effectively you can do your daily double in your Mark 1 Churchill, and then put your Mark 1 Churchill crew in this and do your daily double again and get double crew XP twice every day. And that's why people don't usually buy crews for their premium tanks. So talking about the kind of crew skills that you would want on this tank is irrelevant because it's a premium tank, and people with any sense don't put dedicated crews into premium vehicles. They use the crews from the other premium vehicles of the same nation and type as this one. But if you're like me and you don't have any other British heavies, well, I've gone with Mentor on the Commander. I'm not even sure whether or not it'd be worth swapping that for 6 cents when it reaches 100%, because, yeah, it's just such a large target. And just take it for granted that everybody knows where you are when you're driving this thing, and keep moving anyway. I've gone with Snapshot on the gunner, purely because you will spend a lot of time shooting while firing in this thing. A lot like driving the Mark III Churchill, the Russian Tier 5 premium heavy tank. You just keep rolling and you just keep shooting. So snapshot isn't a bad idea. For the driver, I've gone with Smooth Ride, again, to improve accuracy while on the move. And the rate of fire on the gun is good enough that you can, it's actually not a terrible tactic. The rate of fire and the accuracy mean that if you invest in skills like Smooth Ride and Snapshot, this thing will probably hit every other shot on the move anyway. So it's not a terrible idea. And for the others, I've just gone with repairs, because repairs on a heavy tank is never a bad idea. And I have had fun driving this tank, I must say. I have had immense amounts of fun driving this tank, and let's show you what I mean. So this is a TOG game. Well, Quickie Baby and I always play at least one TOG game every time I live stream with them. The viewers demand it. It's become a traditional. And we did actually get spotted. There we go. They're going, oh, double TOGs. Hang on, that's Jingles and Quickie Baby. Oh my god. Oh. And I don't mind this in World of Tanks. I get spotted and people say, oh my god, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you. Well, you know, come at me, bro. First you've got to find me, and then I'm in a tank. It's a different matter when I'm playing War Thunder and I get recognised, because then, you know, you look at the radar and you see all these red dots moving towards the centre. What's that at the centre? Oh, that's me. And the second I get spotted in a War Thunder game, I just press escape, quit the mission, land the aircraft I'm in, if possible. If not, press escape, take my chances with the arcade battle matchmaker again, because it's a completely different kettle of fish in an air simulation. I could be flying an Avro Lancaster bomber. 10 people in Hawker Fury biplanes can and will kill me if they put their mind to it. There's no hiding, not in the sky, not like in a tank game. So I don't mind being spotted and people coming after me in World of Tanks, because I'm in a tank. You know, it's a different matter when you're flying something as fragile as an aircraft and you've got half the enemy team coming after you. You can't do that in World of Tanks because they don't know where I am. They have to find me first, and when they do find me, I'm in a tank. So yeah, come at me, bro. Little thud experiment there in his Yak Panther. Yeah, revenge for last week, QB. You killed me twice in an hour. So the TOG has gotten moving at last. Full steam in the boilers. Flank speed, off we go. It's a tier 7 game. It's a very, very tier 7 game. I'm moving into position in the town. Look at how slow this bloody thing is, man. I'm not going to get a shot at that AMX. I don't think I am. Keep moving. AT2 up there. Got no shot. Looking at the map, there's the IS. Well, 2 ISs. Oh, we got one of them. Other side of the map is Well, it's not out of control. We've got a heavy, a medium, and 2 tank destroyers. There's 3 heavies pushing down the other side of the map. It looks like we got the town. That IS over there appears to be alone. Yep, can't do anything about that. Look at this, synchronised. Formation turning. My old yeoman would have been proud of that. Perfect turn to port. I haven't actually seen anything to shoot at yet. Well, not since the very start of the game. So, we've cleared the town, and of course we're driving TOGs. We get there too late to do anything about it. 10 tanks left on each team. And the majority of the threat seems to be the other side of the map. And that's bad news when you're driving a TOG, because it takes you a long time to get to the other side of the map. Quickie Baby spamming the map. For those for those on our team who haven't got the brain to look at the bloody map, he's telling the Hummels, get the hell out of there. But, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. Quickie Baby's nailed somebody. Enemy artillery are suiciding, because, they're scum. And then, whoa! Oh, no. AT2's still up there. Finally, something to shoot at. Come on. Let me have him. I want to kill him with my sword. Yes! Oh, a Yag Panther. Oh, that's Thud Experiment, the guy who started the whole chat at the beginning. He's got 2 TOGs trundling towards him. Now, he has 850 health. We have 4 times that amount of health between us. Oh, you swine. Puts one into me, but his tracks are gone. Quickie Baby's nailing his side. Yes, here we go. I'm going to have you. I'm going to have you, Mr. Yak Panther. Because I don't like little Yak Panthers. Oh, bounced. He's doing a good job angling. But not quite good enough. Is that Thud Experiment? I think it is. I know there's another Yak Panther up there. It's either Thud Experiment or Green Yan. And he's coming around. It was Thud Experiment. He actually did that on purpose. I found out later that I'd been putting shots into him, and he could. I'm going to end chat. Togged. He's like, yeah, killed by Jingles. Yeah. He actually gave me the kill. He saw Quickie Baby come around the other side, and he'd already been killed twice by Quickie Baby in an hour the previous week. So he thought, right, screw it. Quickie Baby's not getting the kill, and he stuck his arse out for me to shoot into it. Oh, it was a fun game. With 2, and this is the thing. This is the thing about driving TOGs. There he says in chat, I showed you my ass. That sounds very rude. But people tend to just, I don't know, I can't really can't explain it. Having TOGs on the team just seems to, everybody just seems to chill the hell out. Everybody mellows. It just seems to promote a sort of party atmosphere that you just don't get when you're driving other tanks. Right then, as you can see in chat, we have a retard on the team, KV1S driver, shouting TOG 2 noob tank. Yeah, we'll see who the noobs are in this game, Sonny Jin. In this map, I am platooned up with circumflexers. I live stream all the tanks with circumflexers on Monday night. And this was, and again, you have to do a TOG 2 game every time you live stream. Those are the rules. And I am sticking to the western end of the map. Circumflexers is trundling forward over the eastern end of the map. And you know what? And just until the shooting starts, I'm just going to, because this thing is so incredibly slow. 3601H going, move TOG. Yeah, I'm going at full speed, pal. This is as fast as this thing goes. Oh, look, the little dicker Max is giving me a push. Cheers, Werner. Very kind of you. Didn't do any difference. And here we go, first contact. Back down to normal speed, just so you can get an appreciation of the DPM of this gun. Well, you're going to see a couple of things in this replay. You're going to see an utterly retarded enemy team who kept dying in the same spot. And it was literally, you know, they'd drive up to this spot, right here, and die. And it was as if we were going, send more tanks. As they just kept coming into the killing ground, one after the other. As if they had, you know, oh yeah, all those friendly tanks have died right in front of me, but I'm special. I'm a special little snowflake. Nobody's going to shoot at me if I do the same thing. So that was good. The other thing you're going to see is every TOG driver's just wet dream. There's really no other way to put it. The TOG weighs 81 tons, but it can only do 14 kph. And big tanks that weigh, you know, a lot, that they dream of being able to ram people. But the only way you're ever going to ram anybody in a TOG is if they do the favour of driving into you at full speed. You know, if they're really, really stupid. Well, today was that day. Just look at the damage output of this gun. If, you know, you hit the target. But it is accurate. It's just me being crap. So, well, I don't know what those guys were thinking. Oh, here it is. Right, VK3001P can easily do 40 kilometers per hour. And it's quite big for a medium tank, but it don't weigh no 80 tons. Watch this. Watch this idiot. Yeah, let me know how that works out for you, son. a medium tank just rammed a TOG, and Circumflexes was going, yes, yes, yes. A medium just tried to ram me. Oh man, that's the only time you're going to ever see a TOG doing ramming damage. TOGs can do monstrous amounts of ramming damage. They weigh 81 tons, but only if you drive into them, because they can only do 14 kph. So please, don't be a retard. Don't try to ram a TOG, unless you're in a KV5. And this is pretty much all over by the shouting now. And it's just a case of keep rolling forward. Just keep rolling forward. The artillery could hurt us. Well, everything could hurt us. But at this stage, the only thing that's really capable of killing us, because we just have so much health, is if we take concentrated fire from all three artillery, and all three of them land shots behind the turret. But other than that, we're golden in this game. And Circumflexes, again, and he's nailing these guys from the other side of the field. The 17-pounder gun on this tank is really, really good. It's even good enough to allow me to shoot artillery. Not allowed to kill artillery, of course, but, you know, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to shoot at them. And that was pretty much it for this game. I don't think I even saw the remaining two Artem. And we ended up capping before one of them survived. One of the little scumbags managed to live to tell the tale. So that wasn't a bad game at all. But it certainly wasn't a great game. No. Now for a great game, we have to go back to Quickie Baby's live stream. Right, so here we are. We're back on Quickie Baby's live stream, and we've been joined by Ike. Ike's from Norway, and we pretty much spent the entire night swapping Norway and Sweden jokes. Those of you who live in Norway or Sweden will know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a lot of, we'll be generous, we'll call it friendly rivalry that goes on between Norway and Sweden. For example, the Monty Python movie, The Life of Brian, was actually marketed in Sweden as the movie that was so funny they banned it in Norway. the implication being that the Swedish think the Norwegians have no sense of humour. And of course Norway fire right back with, what's the one thing Sweden has that Norway doesn't? Good neighbours. So, you know, jokes like this were just flying backwards and forwards in the live stream all night. It was really good stuff. What you're seeing here, of course, is me mixing up my east and west. And Quickie Baby is basically telling the team, look, you guys all go for the cap. Leave this side to the Togs. And watch this Crusader. He's using a cheeky little sod. He's using me as cover. I thought he had a problem with his engine. I was like, oh my god, I'm overtaking a Crusader. Yay! Yes, oh no, he's just using me as cover. Oh, okay, never mind. There's another one charging ahead up there. I don't know what that other Crusader thought he was doing. I mean, yeah, okay, but don't drive through the open. No. Oh, that's not going to end well. And then he stops in the middle of the open field. Oh, that's bad. And now he's reversing. Oh no, what is he? I'm amazed he's not dead yet. I mean, he will be very soon, but I'm amazed he lived that long. But Tog Justice is coming. Oh, he's not dead yet. Wow, well done. He's still reversing. What are you playing at? Oh, Mr. Panzer IV. Yeah, you like that, don't you, bitch? Oh, it's a Panzer III-4. Never mind. Oh, they're the same tier. They're both Panzers. What do I know? Oh, yeah. There's kill number 1. And now Quickie Baby's just had one from that KV-1S. But you can take it. That's the thing about the TOG. With 1400 health, you can take hits. So the T-34-85 and the KV-1S are probably shitting bricks now. Because we're just not stopping. We are just not stopping. And we are actually going to outflank. This KV-1S is actually going to let himself be outflanked and surrounded by 3 Togs. I mean, seriously? You go backward faster than we go forward. How can this be? So yeah. We're like the Black Death. You know, we're relentless. So, yeah, Ike's going around that side. I'm coming around this side. We're going to get ourselves a T-34-85. We're going to do Togs outflanking, surrounding and killing KV-1Ss and T-34-85s. Really. So Ike nails that guy. And I've spotted this KV-2. Now, Quickie Baby's been hit by artillery there. And is this guy AFK? Oh well, Tog is not proud. Tog will kill AFK tank. So now the 3 of us are pumping shots into this guy. Actually, I think it might just be me and Quickie Baby. And Ike is moving up to get behind Quickie Baby. And then we spot KV-2, enemy of the TOG. T-150, other enemy of the TOG. And what's going on here? You know, you see all these Hollywood action movies where the hero's buddy throws himself in front of the hero in slow motion to take the bullet. Well, that's what Ike's trying to do here. Except he's doing it at full speed, but it may as well be slow motion because he's in a TOG. Trying to save him from the T-150. And I'm going, don't worry, I'll flank him. Ah, crap. Then artillery nails Quickie Baby. And now I have to save Ike. Oh, there's the artillery. Come on. Yes, I killed a scumbag. And now it's me against this T-150 and Ike. And Ike's pounding him from the front. And I'm pounding him from the side, but he's got a big gun that does a lot of damage. And no, he's going to kill Ike. I'll save you, Ike. No, don't kill my friend. No, no. Oh, he killed the TOG. Right, now you must suffer. And there's one, kill number 4. Well, you know, if you're going to insist on driving in front of my gun when you only have 22 health, who am I to refuse? So, that was almost 1400 XP. 44,000 credits in a tier 6 game. That's not bad at all. And you'll note that was only good enough for the first class mastery badge. So that means people are doing very, very well in TOGs indeed, if a game like that isn't good enough for Master Tanker. Team scores, pretty much what you'd expect, but look at the damage done between me and Quickie Baby, 1600 each. We did the same amount of damage between us as the next 7 highest damage dealing players on our team. That's just what the TOG can do if you let it keep firing the gun. Speaking of the gun, 16 shots, 15 hits, 15 penetrations. That 17 pounder is a really, really good gun to have on a tier 6 tank of any description. It is fantastic DPM. Just get this tank into a position where you can keep rolling and keep shooting and watch the credits and the XP come flooding in. Of course, that's the trick, isn't it? Getting yourself into the position where you can keep rolling and keep firing, and that's half the battle with a tank as slow as this, because the mobility is garbage. This tank has 2 great things going for it: the 17 pounder gun and the fact that it has 1400 hit points. Everything else about it is pretty crap. I can't deny that, and yet I love it all the same. It's one of those tanks that really has character, like the Churchill 3, like the Matilda. Should you get one of these? Well, if you're after a premium moneymaker, no. You should get a tier 8 premium, because they make double the amount of money this thing does. If you have British heavy tanks, then yeah, you should definitely think about this, because you can capitalise on the fact that this is a premium by training the crew of your existing British heavies in this and getting 2 daily doubles for your British heavy tank crew. If you're just after a tank that's fun, yeah, absolutely. I've had so much fun driving this thing. This is one of my stress toys. This is one of the tanks I platoon up within when I've had enough of the random shit team lottery and I just want something to relax in. If any 3 of those circumstances apply to you, then yeah, I would definitely recommend getting one of these things. It's certainly been a lot of fun driving it. And it's one of those tanks that when I'm live streaming with Quickie Baby or I'm live streaming with Circumflexes and somebody says it's TOG o'clock, everybody starts smiling. It's just that kind of tank. It's so much fun to drive, and everybody else on the team seems to be an infectious kind of fun. As I said in the preview, in the video replays of the battles, you do tend to find that everybody lightens up when there's a TOG on the team. The jokes start flying around, and it's a party tank. So I'm definitely giving this tank a thumbs up, despite the fact that it has serious limitations. The armour is garbage, the speed is horrible, but I don't care. I love this tank. I don't think I'm ever going to sell it. Even if I never get any other British heavy tanks, and I probably won't get any other British heavy tanks, I'm still going to keep this thing, because it's just so much fun to drive. As always, folks, take care on that battlefield, and I'll catch you next time.